Question 2. Mark took a random sample of 16 students from a school and for each student recorded the number of letters X in their last name and the number of letters Y in their first name. His results are shown in the scatter diagram, which I have here. Part A, describe the correlation between X and Y. So if we look at this graph here, there seems to be a few more points in the upper left and a few more in the lower right. So I would say, if anything, that this has weak negative correlation. So weak negative correlation is the answer for part A. Mark suggests that parents with long last names tend to give their children shorter first names. Using the scatter diagram, comment on Mark's suggestion, giving a reason for your answer. So the last name is X, so this is a long last name, and Y is the length of the first name. So the negative correlation, is suggesting that a longer last name does infer a shorter first name. And so Mark's suggestion does support the scatter diagram due to that negative correlation. The results from Mark's random sample of 16 observations are given in the table below. So here's the values. Part C, use your calculator to find the product moment correlation coefficient between X and Y for these data. Let's head to our calculator. Okay, so for product moment correlation coefficient, we go to menu and we want number 6 here, which is statistics. And we've got two variables here. We've got X and Y. So if we hit number 2, okay, so now we need to put in our 16 values. So we've got 3 for X, and then 6, and then 8, 7, 5, 3. This is a little quicker with an actual calculator. 3, 4, 5, 4, 9, 7, 10, 6, and 6. And I've got 16 values there. It's always a good idea to just check on your columns to make sure that you have the right number of values. And then once you've entered the values for X, go ahead and enter your values for Y. So I have 7, 7, 4, 4, 6, 8, 5, 5, 8, 4, 7, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 3. And phew, that looks good. I've got 16 values of each. Now, if we hit Option, and we want our regression calculations here, so number 4, this value here of R is our product moment correlation coefficient. So we have a value of negative 0.544 and so on. And so hopefully we've shown that the correlation coefficient is negative 0.544 and so on. Part D, I want to test whether or not there is evidence of a negative correlation between the number of letters in the last name and the number of letters in the first name. I need to state my hypothesis clearly and then use a 5% level of significance. So firstly, our original hypothesis is that there is no correlation between the data. So our H0 is that our product moment correlation is equal to 0. If I'm testing to see if it has negative correlation, then I'm wanting to see if the correlation value is less than 0. So looking in our formula booklet, we have our product moment coefficient table. We have a sample size of 16, and we are looking at a 5% level of significance. And so the value that we're interested in from our table is 0.4259. Since our calculated product moment correlation coefficient is less than this critical value of 0.4259, we can say there is evidence to suggest a negative correlation in this case.